What's up, guys? It's Rob from Heroes Avenue. If you guys see bags underneath my eyes, it's because I spent the last 24 hours binge watching The Umbrella Academy Season 2, and I'm here to give you guys my initial thoughts and review. Keep in mind that I haven't had a lot of time to sit and think about this, but I did want to give you guys my initial thoughts because I'm sure a lot of you guys are currently still watching it if you're like a normal person and you take it maybe one or two episodes at a time. But no, I'm one of the few people, or probably one of the many people, who have binge watched this show. And I gotta say right off the bat, this show is time traveling done right. This past month has seemed to be a time travel themed month for me. At work, we did a Back to the Future movie night that we put together, and I just finished binge watching Dark, all 3 seasons, and that show was absolutely amazing on Netflix as well. But then we get Umbrella Academy Season 2 dropping just in time for me to kind of get another show started after watching Dark. Every time you stop watching a new series, it feels like there's a little hole left where that series has been, and this was perfect. But unfortunately, I'm also done with this show as well. So we'll do another show or another video where I try to get to your guys' recommendations for shows, because we normally cover movies around here. But enough talk about that. Let's get back to Umbrella Academy Season 2. This show just, kind of hit on all cylinders for me. I only have a couple critiques of the show, 2 of which I will just get off the bat right away. The first critique, which I didn't actually have a huge problem with, is the fact that the whole story is centered around another doomsday event started by Vanya. And I'll put a spoiler warning ahead if I haven't mentioned it earlier. But yes, another doomsday event started by Vanya, and while I didn't really have an issue with it, I can see a lot of people complaining about that fact, so that we spent the whole first season talking and leading up to a cataclysmic event only for it to happen anyways. And in this season, it's essentially leading to the same thing. They carried that doomsday event with them through time, and now they have to spend all of their resources to try and fix the timeline. So it's almost the same, but it's not quite the same. So again, that's first critique number 1. Again, I didn't have issue with it, but I do think people will have issue with it if I haven't heard anyone really talk about it yet because I haven't watched any reviews, but I could see people having an issue with it. My second critique, and again, we did get doses of it, but I don't think we got enough of the team, the family, the Umbrella Academy, fighting as a team. Now, we did get this awesome opening sequence. It looked like they had a straight up movie budget, or they allocated most of their budget towards this action sequence in the beginning of the season. I think it was in the first episode, where you get the team fighting alongside with each other. You get Vanya looking like Dr. Manhattan, floating and using and being in control of her abilities. You get Klaus actually using his powers to talk and communicate with the dead to fend off a bunch of Soviets. You get number 1, Luther. You actually get him fighting using his strength and him almost looking like he's leading the team. Of course, you get Allison in there, and we get to see Diego kind of do his knife work, which I don't think we got a lot of in this season. And I think towards the end of the season, we get a little bit more of that. We get it built up to the fact that these guys, hey, they've come together as a family again. And Vanya is also a part of that, which is cool. We see them showing up to the end boss level, and then we essentially get Vanya eliminating most of the enemies, and then we also get Diego, who gets injured, and kind of just like a standoff. We don't really get to see them fighting as a team so much, but we did get a little bit, and I will take what we got, because that opening sequence with them fighting before the doomsday happens was absolutely awesome, and I hope we get more of that in any future seasons. So those are my 2 critiques of the show, and again, they're not any deal breakers whatsoever, because I thoroughly enjoyed this season. So this show definitely hits on so many levels. I'm sure I'm forgetting a lot, but just right off the top, some of the themes was obviously sexuality, treating people who are different than us and how that impacts people and their loved ones. Obviously, we get that through Vanya discovering who she really is throughout the season, and also accepting her sexuality. And obviously, it's a topic that's still relevant today, just like racism, and the continued fight for justice is still a theme and issue that is relevant today. And it feels like this show is just it's I don't want to say capitalizing, I don't know if that's the right word, but it's definitely in tune with what's going on right now in our society. And you see, again, you see that through Allison, you see that through Vanya. And then, you see growth throughout the other characters as well. I will say one critique I forgot to mention earlier was Luther. While I thought Luther was a great character throughout the season, and it was great to see how he coped throughout the years of being alone, it seemed like he was just moping for Allison the whole season. He seemed to become a big dumb oaf for the whole season. And again, we didn't see him do much. He's supposed to be number one. He's supposed to be the leader, but we didn't see him do much. But outside of that, we did see a lot of character growth throughout the season for all, and more so in the character of Diego. You see Diego talking about how he's a lone wolf in the beginning of the season, and by the end, he's admitting his love for Lila. I think that was her name, right? Lila. And Five obviously was an amazing character, and his powers are just so awesome. It's so cool to see that he, being the most dangerous assassin of all time, it comes in such a little package. And to see him being able to time travel and talk to his old self, and seeing that interaction, and seeing how a fight between people who can teleport would take place was so awesome. And again, this show does so much good. Some of the undersung things about the show is probably going to be like their cinematography, the camera work, the effects. All of that was just so amazing, especially during that fight sequence that I was just talking about, in which Five is fighting with his older self, and you see Luther in a dazed and confused state, and then you just see a slow motion circle around Luther while they're fighting. It's just awesome. We also see that in the scene where Klaus falls off the wagon again. In the liquor store. There's just so much good camera work, so much creativity just put into the show, and not just the story, but also everything behind the scenes, the camera work, cinematography, and all that. Speaking of Klaus was hilarious. I think between Five and Klaus, I don't know who was my favorite character of this season. I just know Klaus, he always brings that extra weirdness to the show that I think is so awesome, and I think is so needed. And his interactions with Ben is just it's so funny. Obviously we get the whole sexuality theme with Klaus as well, but just to see him kind of mess with the timeline, create a cult, Destiny's Children, and all the pop culture references that he kind of throws into the mix is so funny. And I think he's kind of just like a breath of fresh air for the show, and I think without Klaus, the show would definitely be missing something. Who am I missing? So Allison's storyline was great, seeing her fight for justice. Am I missing anybody? Ben was amazing. Ben seems to be the guy who saves the day in each season, right? In season 1, we see the awesome kind of reveal of Ben, the family realizing that Klaus is with Ben, and the whole season is saved once again by Ben. And he has arguably the most heartfelt moment in the show, which he kind of lets go and saves the world by saving Vanya and letting go, walking into the light. And I think there's a lot to be said there, the fear of death and being able to accept it and accept your fate. And there's probably a lot more to be said. And I'm glad that if you stayed till the ending of the show, that we're going to get more of that character, most likely in a different form. So Ben was absolutely amazing. Now, other characters that were introduced to the show, Lila kind of grew on me throughout the season. I was kind of skeptical when I first saw her, but by the end, it was amazing to see that, hey, there are more characters that we're going to be discovering who have powers, the brothers and sisters of the Umbrella Academy, because there are more babies that were born that just weren't adopted by Hargreaves. So that is great, and we're going to see that expanded even, because we even get people like what is his name, the kid Harlan, who was obviously given powers by Vanya when she saved his life. So there's a lot of expansion to be done. Speaking of Hargreaves, though, Hargreaves, we get a big reveal of Hargreaves and what he is, potentially, when he kind of, murders the board members of his little secret society. And that was just a mind-blowing reveal. Explains a lot, really. But I'm sure we're going to get more of an explanation in the next season. And I think this show did a lot to tease the future. And I think it did enough without making it feel like this was just a whole big cliffhanger season. Because a lot definitely happened, and there's a lot to be discovered still. So I thought that was really awesome. And of course, what we didn't get enough of was AJ, the fishbowl head guy. I'm sure he had much more to do in the comics than he did in the show. But there was just... it gave you enough to realize that, to make you believe that this world existed, this world of the Commission, keepers of the timeline, and you just kind of accepted it. It didn't feel weird or out of place. It felt like just a bigger expansion of this world. So I liked that we got more of the Commission. I liked that every single thing that each character did essentially brought them to where they were at the end of the season, in this altered reality. Of course, few movies that deal with time travel always talk about the butterfly effect, and I think we really see it in this show. So I think I covered most of that. The Swedes as villains were awesome. They were really entertaining villains. Didn't have much to say, but they did enough to make you really enjoy them as characters, and I love where it left off. AJ, that's the fishbowl head guy, but the handler, she did great as kind of a main villain, and seeing that last sequence where the payoff of Hargreaves' suggestion to 5 kind of pays off. You knew it was going to pay off, just try seconds, try a matter of seconds, and then 5 realizes, hey, he can time travel back a few seconds, save everyone's lives, change the course of history. And I thought that was cool. It was a great payoff. And I thought the season overall was really well done. And it was so enjoyable. I really enjoyed it a lot more than the first season. And I'm looking forward to the future of the Umbrella Academy. I really got to pick up the comics and just kind of fill myself in. But yeah, let me know what you guys thought. Did you guys binge watch it like me? Or are you going through it right now? Hopefully you guys didn't catch any spoilers in this initial review. So let me know what you guys thought about this show, guys. Let me know if you guys disagreed with me on anything. Thank you guys for watching. If you did enjoy this review, please give it a like. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace.